Alright, I'm ready. Okay, everybody, listen up. As you recall in our last episode, it's time for Reading Rainbow, episode 155, Showway. And after, me, Mom, and Dad will do the announcer. Okay, here we go. Reading Rainbow, episode 155, Showway. When Suni's great-grandma was 7, she was sold from the Virginia land to a plantation in South Carolina without her ma or pa, but with some muslin her ma had given her, and 2 needles she got from the big house, and thread dyed bright red with berries from the chokecherry tree. In South Carolina, Big Mama raised Suni's great-grandma, raised most of the slave children on that large patch of land. At night, Big Mama told the children stories she'd tell in a whisper about children growing up and getting themselves free. And the children leaned in and listened real hard. And in the daytime, when there was some few minutes for a slave to rest a bit, Big Mama taught Suni's great-grandma to sew colored thread into stars and moons and roads that slave children grew up and followed late in the night, a piece of quilt, and the true moon leading them. Years passed. Big Mama moved on to the next world, and Suni's great-grandma grew up, jumped broom with a young man named Ensler, had herself a baby girl, and named that child Mathis May. Loved that baby up so. Yes, she loved that baby up. And one day, Mathis May would be Suni's grandma, but not for a long, long time yet. In the meantime, she learned to sew. Beautiful girl child learned to sew. When Mathis May was 7, she got sold away, took a star from her mama's blanket, took a little piece of the road, pressed it to her face when she wanted to remember back home, held it to her heart to feel back home, got herself a piece of muslin and some thread somewhere, and kept up her sewing. Sewed so fine, she was making clothes for everyone in the big house and slaves too. And at night, she sewed stars and moons and roads, tiny patch pieces of stars and moons and roads. Slaves whispered what no one was allowed to say, that Mathis know how to make a showway. Came to her when they needed to talk, came to her for the stories of brave people, came to her for the patch pieces, just before they disappeared into the night. But Mathis May stayed on, grew tall and straight-boned, jumped groom with another slave. But that slave was killed, running off to the north side of the war months before he got to meet his baby, a girl child who was born free that same year, 1863. History went and lost her name. Years later, Suni came. Suni's mama held her up in the moonlit night, showed her the stars. The moon whispered into her ear, "There's a road, girl, there's a road." Loved that Suni up so. Yes, she loved that Suni up. Suni and her mama stayed on the land. They'd always known, picking cotton for a little pay and a piece of that ground to farm, called that land home. Stayed on with other people, none of them slaves anymore. Hard work making a life, from pink day to blue-black night. But it was a free life just the same. And when the day was finally over, wasn't hard to find a thing or two to smile about. At night, They cut and sewed, strange lines and odd designs. People said about Suni, that child could find some beauty in so many things. When Suni was 7, she was tall and straight-boned like her mama, took in wash with her mama, sewed stars on patch pieces, sewed stars and moons and roads, sewed fields and rivers and trees, patched the pieces together for her mama to sell come market day, called those quilts Trail to the North, called the quilts Showway. Didn't much need that secret trail to the north anymore, but started living well off. The money those quilts brought in. Sewed those quilts to live, sewed those quilts to remember. And though some could book read, most could not. Stars and moon and roads. Picture reading was what they'd always known. Some mornings, Suni looked out over the fields of cotton and dreamed of a place to call her own. Married a man named Walter Scott, who owned a bit of land in Anderson, South Carolina. Had herself a baby girl, named that girl child Georgiana. Loved that baby up so. Yes, they loved that baby up. Georgiana, who grew tall and straight-boned and free, picking out words from her mama's Bible by 3. Reading by oil lamp light at age 5. People say about Georgiana, she always had a book in her hand, grew up to teach at a small school in Anderson, had herself 2 girls at once, named them Caroline and Anne. Loved those babies up so. Yes, they loved those babies up. And Caroline and Anne grew up tall and straight-boned, turned 7, walking in a line to change the laws that kept black people and white people living separate. They were a little bit scared sometimes, but pinned inside their dresses were Showway patches Grandma Suni had given them, and something about those patches made Scared hang his mean old head and walk away. Anne grew up writing poems, and sometimes she made the poems into songs. Caroline stitched those songs into art that people bought to hang up on their walls. Anne had me. And Mama loved this baby up so. Yes, she loved this baby up. And when I was 7, I didn't have to work in a field or walk in any freedom lines. But I still read like Georgiana and wrote like Anne. And when the words were slow in coming, I sewed stars and moons and roads into quilts and curtains and clothes before Mama said, all the stuff that happened before you were born is your own kind of showway. There's a road, girl, my mama said. There's a road. And I grew up tall and straight-boned, writing every day, and the words became books that told the stories of many people's showways. Had a baby and named that child Toshi Georgiana. Loved that Toshi up so. Yes, I love that Toshi up. So some mornings, I start all over. Holding tight to little Toshi, I whisper a story that came before her. Now Suni was your great-great-grandma, and when Suni's great-grandma was 7. The end. Oh wait, there's more! right! Okay, Jacob, Mom, and Dad, ready for your announcer again?
Okay, what do we say?
This! How about those you typed?
Oh, we can't say all of it.
Can we say all? Let's say them all.
What?
It's all over, folks! The GPN and WNED TV had done the impossible! For the first time in 100 years, we had a great time reading! Hey, tell the presses, you witnessed a miracle! This is one memory you'll savor forever! Now, Jacob, Mom, and Dad will do LeVar what your secret is.
What's your secret?
I'll hold the microphones. Now,
What's your
Mom and
secret?
Dad.
Jacob Mullen, tell us.
LeVar, tell us what your secret is.
LeVar, tell us what your secret is.
Well, I just put one foot in front of the other. Thanks, LeVar. Hand me the logbook I found. I needed to help pilot in for some airplanes. Wow, Morgan. The library thanked him. It was marvelous. And it's made for the books that you recorded on my iPad. Wonderful. I knew you could do it. You know, I think this book is even better than you remember that. Thanks, LeVar. Now let's tell the presses and get home to my taxi and have our dinner. Wow, that was great! I could have done it with a little help from my friends. Thanks, LeVar. I would have missed our adventure for everything. You sure know how to make a big finish. Congratulations, LeVar Burton, on finishing in second place! What a magnificent effort! Reading Rainbow Tour. Do you have anything you'd like to tell the press as you read all the Reading Rainbow books? I would just like to thank my friends, LeVar Burton, Deborah, and Morgan Levine. For that, I would be a great book for the Reading Rainbow Tour. Oh, wouldn't you say I'm guessing of the honors for the Reading Rainbow Tour? We're honored, but we got to go. There are more Reading Rainbow books to read. Well, at least take your final picture? I've never been one to pass on to photo opportunity. Shh. Well, I guess that just about wraps up Reading Rainbow. Well said, LeVar Burton. Well said. Oh, man! Well, they won again, but I'll get them next time. The end.